Okay, so here's the deal. There's a story that every woman tells herself about how she's meant to fall in love. This is something that's wired into her. It's literally genetic, and it's why literotica books, which tap into that story, are the number one product category on Amazon's ebooks right now. And women get addicted to these. So I set to dissecting the storyline and figuring out what it would take to get a girl to fall in love. And here's what I've come up with. So the way I've simplified things for you guys is like this. There's 4 checkpoints that you have to cross and 4 phases that you have to go through. Now, it's going to be a lot more clear once we're through this. So, obviously, let's start at the start. Checkpoint 1 is you've got to meet the girl. Now, you might be surprised to know that with 9 of my girlfriends, there's only one girl who I actually picked up. And there are a lot of easy ways to meet women that guys don't think about, and in the system, I go into a lot of depth about the way that worked best for me and actually even got girls to approach me. Now the next checkpoint is getting her number, and it's a big duh, right? Now this is a big one because it basically means that she wants to see you again, and this can all happen within minutes from meeting her to getting her number. And the next checkpoint after that, well, it's sex, and this can happen very quickly as well, or it can happen over the course of a few dates. But it's a really important one, and even if you haven't had sex in a long time, or getting to sex has been really hard in the past, it's really easy with my system, which is why I didn't put first date or a second date as the next step after getting her number. In fact, the technique I'm going to demonstrate in just a minute, it comes from the date that I plan when I want to have sex with a girl. I call it my sex date. Now, the final checkpoint is, of course, the talk, when you're like, we're in a relationship now. And I used to think that having sex meant that I was basically in a relationship, but that couldn't be further from the truth. There's stuff that you've got to do in between sex and getting into the relationship. So let's now transition from these checkpoints and start talking about the 4 phases. What we're going to look at is these phases of the story that girls have about falling in love. And this is the unconscious stuff that's going on in her mind about you. So the first phase between when you meet her and when you get her number is impression. And when you meet her, you make an impression on her. Now, when you mess this phase up, what happens? She gets a bad impression. Either she thinks you're creepy, or she thinks you're boring, or she just doesn't feel good about you. And it's funny because a lot of pickup artist guys actually overdo it in this phase. And if you're like I used to be, then you don't know what to do to consistently make strong, positive impressions on women. And the funny thing is, a lot of guys stress way too much about this. But like I said in the last video, and I sure hope you watched that one, there are only a few things that you really need to get right in this phase. It's just really easy to get her talking, working for you, all that. So, when you do get it right, what's going on in her head? Well, the impression she gets of you is that you're different. There's something that sparks her curiosity and makes her think, I need to get to know this guy better. And that's the first part of the story she tells herself. You don't need incredibly strong attraction or arousal here. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but it's not required. You just need to get to the point where she's curious and she's like, okay, I need to know this guy better because I think he's hiding something that I want to find out. So that brings us to the next phase. Once you get that thing going on in her head, she wants to give you her number or give you her email address or whatever. Now you're in the next phase, which is called inspection. And this is when you guys start texting and you start dating and you start spending a little bit of time together. She's inspecting the goods, so to speak. That's why I call it inspection. And to a lot of guys, this is where it feels like they're getting tested. But that's only because guys aren't in control. And when you don't know what to do here, you usually turn a girl off, either by pushing too hard or, and I know this resonates with a lot of you, being a wuss and not making a move. But either way, she decides that you're friend material, and to you it feels like you didn't pass her tests. But when you're in control, and when you know the step-by-step process, and you're one step ahead of her the whole time, then she starts to feel like you're the one inspecting her. And you feel a lot more confident, and you're a lot less worried about things you're going with this girl who you really like. And at this point, the story that's playing out in her mind is going something like, wow, he makes all the right moves. And if you do this correctly, she literally can't help but give herself to you at this point. Sex becomes literally inevitable because you're tapping right into the story that she's hardwired to respond to. And I do want to make a little aside here. If you're religious or you don't want to have sex with a girl before marriage, You don't have to have sex here. I actually had a long-term relationship with a very religious girl, and we didn't have sex until about 8 months in. And I know that sounds crazy, especially for someone like me, but she was such an awesome girl that I didn't mind. I wanted to get to know her, and I wanted to respect it all. But what's interesting is that she told me that from our second date onward, it was all she wanted, and it was really a struggle to stay true to her faith. So, listen, even though this course makes it really easy to have sex with a girl, I don't want you guys using it for the wrong reasons. It kind of makes women kind of helpless to resist you, and I'd feel bad if I found out you were using it to have sex with girls who you didn't, really like. So moving on, the third phase is intimacy. This is after you've had sex and you're starting to get closer to her. You're going from a fun guy who she likes to sleep with to a close friend who she wants to spend a lot of time with. Now, a lot of guys I've talked to mess this phase up. A lot of pickup artist guys, they try to keep gaming a girl, and that's exactly what she does not want in this phase. She doesn't want over gaming. She wants you to open up so she can get to know the real you. And being closed off in this phase is just not good. But a lot of guys, including me when I was younger, get too open and too needy here, and you can't do that too soon. Like I said, I used to think that having sex with a girl was kind of the final step to being together with her, but it's actually really easy to scare her off if you jump into things too soon. But either way, when you get it wrong, it screws up that story that's been going along so well up to this point. She realizes that you're, not as advertised. She's like, okay, there's something about this guy. I thought he was a certain way, but he's actually not. And she starts to lose interest in you as someone who she'd want to get serious with. So she'll write you off as one of her fun flings, and you'll probably notice her pulling away. And I'm sure for some of you this has happened. Now, on the other hand, when you get it right in this phase, when you're one step ahead of her and you're in control of how things are playing out, she can't believe that she's actually met a guy who is getting everything right. And when you follow the system, she's the one who feels like she has to win you over. And here's what's pretty interesting. Towards the end of this phase, as you're getting closer to actually being in a relationship and being official, it becomes a little bit more cooperative. So, it starts where she's really feeling like she needs to win you over, but you want to shift the dynamic a little bit so that it feels like the two of you are working for each other. And this is really important because you have to start becoming a team here. If she feels like she's always the one working for you and you're being this, fake alpha douchebag who doesn't need her around or doesn't really care, she won't be able to fall in love with you, and it won't lead to a good relationship. And then, of course, the final phase here is in love. And, you've been one step ahead of her the whole time. She can't help but fall in love with you. And I don't have a whole lot to say about this right now because this isn't a course about how to, be in love with a girl or how to have a, real relationship. It's about how to get into one. So, that's it. You simply follow the system. And these are the thoughts that she's thinking as she's going from meeting you to sleeping with you to falling in love with you. And right now we're going to demonstrate a technique that's going to help on the escalation side. But before we do, I want to mention one other thing. There are two other phases that I didn't bring up here. And the first one is before you meet a girl. That's basically your day-to-day life. That's what's going on right now in your life. It's what's going to go on every day between now and when you do meet a girl. And the other one is obviously when you're in a long-term relationship, when you're, dating her and you're serious with her. And that could last for, 6 months or 60 years, could last through a marriage. And obviously this course isn't about either of those phases. But, if you're a fun, awesome guy who enjoys his life and has his shit together, then the quality of your life becomes a lot better. And, at the Social Man, we never want to just, give a guy an attraction technique and then assume that everything would be perfect for him. So we also filmed this course called the 10 Code, and it's everything that we've developed about being a guy who's a 10, both to women and to himself. And I know that a lot of guys want that for themselves. When we did this poll, a lot of guys were like, I want to be more confident. I want more purpose in my life. I just want my life to be better. So when we release the girlfriend activation system, we're going to include the 10 code as an option for you. And, you don't have to get it, but we put a lot of work into that, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm really excited about that one too. So for now, I hope that helps you understand what the system is. And let's jump back into the real world and back into the den and learn this really cool escalation technique. All right, so back to the real world, and it's time to demonstrate a really cool technique. Now, I've included quite a few techniques in the course about how to kiss a girl, but I thought I'd give you one that is pretty unique. I promise you've never seen this one before. It's a great technique for turning up the heat, and it's part of one of my date formulas where you just do these following things on the dates and they turn awesome dates. So you're going to invite a girl over to your house. This could be a first date. I've got a technique for figuring out whether she will come over on a first date or not. Typically for me, I find that this is a third date sort of thing, when I'm inviting the girl over to my house and we're going to cook dinner together. And in the program, I'll even tell you what to cook. Now, if you live with mom and dad, or if you live in the dorm room, we've got some alternatives for you. But obviously, we're in my place, so we'll be demonstrating as if you're living at your own house. So when she arrives, you want to have her take off her shoes. Of course, you don't want her clogging around the apartment in some dirty shoes. And you want to offer her something to drink very shortly after she arrives. I also like to give her a little kiss on the cheek, or assuming we've already kissed each other on the lips at that point, a kiss on the lips. Again, that's all covered in previous dates in the system. And then once she comes in, you want to offer her something to drink. And my favorite is champagne or Prosecco. There's something about the sound of a champagne cork popping that's just sort of like, it's a subconscious trigger that gets girls really excited and like feeling good. So I always like to start off the day with some champagne. You can usually get like half bottles of champagne. You don't have to spring for the full bottle. So here's a move. Once you've poured the champagne, toast like, hey, cheers to an awesome meal. Do a little toast, maybe a little kiss if you've gone for the kiss at that point. And then you're gonna say, hey, listen, why don't we go create a playlist together for while we're making dinner? Does that sound good? And so of course it's gonna sound good to her, and I'm gonna demonstrate it in just a second. And one of the cool things about the system is there's times when you want to be leading and when you want to be ahead of the game. I mentioned that when we were looking at the presentation there. But there's other times when you want to make things cooperative with her. You want to feel like you guys are on a team together. And this is one of those great things that not only lets you get really flirty with the girl, but also lets you be cooperative with her and make something a team effort. So I'm going to go grab my date, and we're going to come demonstrate right here, all right? We'll come right back in. All right, so I'm going to warn you, most of my playlist collections are like heavy metal music and like death metal.
No, they're not.
No, you can't tell that I'm like really into death
Yeah,
metal.
I mean, hello.
Yeah.
Look
I know,
at you.
it's so obvious, right?
All right.
So wait, what are you doing standing up there?
What?
Come, have a seat. How are you gonna, you can't see from up there.
Okay.
Have a seat. Come on now.
Alright.
Alright, so we should probably create a new playlist here. And I'm gonna turn the chair off tilt, because otherwise we're just gonna end up falling backwards.
That'd be good.
So, yeah?
No.
You want to end up on the floor with me?
No, I don't want to.
You don't want to end up? Okay, well, we'll see where this ends up.
Yeah, we'll see.
Alright, dinner playlist. What was this called? Yeah. So, obviously we'll have to get through all the, crappy heavy metal. But,
I don't know if I can deal with that.
We'll Alright,
see.
so here we are. What do you see?
I really like Chitty Bang.
Chitty Bang? I love Chitty Bang.
And you do?
I don't know if it's good. Well,
Not for dinner?
well, it's the name of the album is Breakfast. I mean, it's kind of good breakfast music. Again, we'll see where things go.
Alright. Oh,
Maybe
like...
tomorrow morning.
Oh, really?
I'm just saying, But I'm just saying, maybe when I'm making breakfast tomorrow morning by myself, I'll listen to Chitty Bang.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about Coldplay? I really like Coldplay.
Yeah, I just so happen to like them too because I've got about 20 of their albums.
I noticed.
Any albums that you like?
I like all of them, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
But why don't we do the newer one?
Every Teardrop is a Waterfall?
Yeah.
I don't think it's the album. Let's see. No, that's just the single.
I mean, we can do a few songs. Yeah.
So where did I put that dinner playlist? I mean, obviously you got to go with Every Teardrop is a Waterfall.
Yeah, duh.
This one, I don't think I like this one. Hang on, let's see here. I don't think I even recognize this one.
I can't believe you don't have Paradise.
Oh, I have Paradise. No, that was a single. I bought this early. I bought it before it came out.
Oh, and
Look at that.
Milo. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the name of the album. That's true.
Exactly. All right, Paradise. There you
Yeah,
go.
that Princess of China is really good too.
That's the one with Rihanna, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that one. All right, we'll throw that in there. I think you need to take over. What else do you see? Chris Brown?
Sure.
Man. Have you heard these guys? Crystal Castles?
No, I haven't.
Oh, they're
I'm
so
really
good.
bad with artist names, so we.
You heard this?
No, but it's good.
It's like really chill, but it's kind of like edgy. I don't know. I call it hipster music.
Hipster music.
Yeah.
I mean, we're both pretty hipster.
Obviously, you with the makeup and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, your glasses are in the other room, right?
Yeah, I carry
You did-
I
you
carry
did
them
wear them,
everywhere.
right?
Yeah.
Actually, I gotta tell you, I think if you were wearing glasses, it wouldn't I wouldn't be thinking about kissing you right now.
Oh,
with the
so
glasses. Yeah.
you think you won't get me?
I'm thinking about it. But all right. So I think that's good enough for now. But you guys can basically see how that rolls. So we'll say goodbye to Marina for now. Let's give her our kisses, and we'll continue on with the music turned down just a little bit more. So I'm sure how you could see, like, this is just one of those simple ways to, get flirtatious. It really starts the night off sexually, but without being like sleazy or anything like that. And there's all sorts of opportunities to, like, if she's sitting on your lap, you can like hug her, you can go in for the kiss, anything like that. It just gets the night off on the right start. And whenever that usually happens, it takes 20 minutes or 30 minutes of like sitting there and you're kind of going through it, and then at a certain point she's going to be like, is your leg starting to get tired? And you'll be like, yeah, actually, like, I started to lose feeling in about 10 minutes ago, but it's okay. So it's just, again, really fun, easy way to get the night off to a great, sexy start. And of course, it's just one small part of the girlfriend activation system. So, obviously I'd love to demonstrate more, but this video has already gone on for quite a bit of time, so we're going to wrap it up now. Do me a favor, just like last time, leave a comment and let me know what you think. As with the last video, one of the people who leaves a comment on this one will win a copy of the course, and I'll be announcing those in the next video that we do. That'll be coming out in a few days. So yeah, thanks again for joining me here. I hope this stuff was helpful for you. Let me know what your thoughts or questions are, and I'll look forward to seeing you around next time. Cheers, man.